Welcome back, listeners, to Sandman Stories Presents, a folklore podcast where I read you to sleep or until the next story. I'm your host, Dustin. Today we are diving back into the epic story of the loss of friends, the first book in the Panchatantra suggested to me by my friend Ripul. In Chapter 19, we learn about keeping your mouth shut, and in Chapter 20, we find out about the power of the ocean. This is all a story within a story that's being told by Victor. Okay, let's begin. Chapter 19. Shellneck, Slim, and Grim. In a certain lake lived a turtle named Shellneck. He had two ganders as friends whose names were Slim and Grim. Now in the vicissitudes of time, there came a 12-year drought, which begot ideas of this nature in the two ganders. The lake has gone dry. Let's see another body of water. However, we must first say farewell to Shellneck, our dear and long-proved friend. When they did so, the turtle said, "Why do you bid me farewell? I am a water dweller, and here I should perish very quickly from the scant supply of water and from the grief of the loss of you. Therefore, if you feel any affection for me, please rescue me from the jaws of death. Besides, as the water dries in this lake, you two suffer nothing beyond a restricted diet, while to me it means immediate death. Consider which is more serious, the loss of food or the loss of life." But they replied, "We are unable to take you with us, since you are a water creature without wings." Yet the turtle continued, "There is a possible device. Bring a stick of wood." This they did, whereupon the turtle gripped the middle of the stick between his teeth, and said, "Now take firm hold with your bills, one on each side, fly up and travel with even flight through the sky, until we discover another desirable body of water." But they objected. "There is a hitch in this fine plan. If you happen to indulge in the smallest conversation, then you will lose your hold on the stick and fall from a great height and will be dashed to bits." "Oh," said the turtle, "from this moment I take a vow of silence, to last as long as we are in heaven." So they carried out the plan, but while the two ganders were painfully carrying the turtle over a neighboring city, the people below noticed the spectacle, and there arose a confused buzz of talk as they asked, "What is this cart-like object with two birds are carrying through the sky?" Hearing this, the doomed turtle was heedless enough to ask, "What are these people chattering about?" The moment he spoke, the poor simpleton lost his grip and fell to the ground, and persons who wanted meat cut him to bits in a moment with sharp knives. And that is why I say, to take advice from kindly friends, and the rest of it. And Constance continued, "Forethought and Readywit thrive. Fatalist can't keep alive." "How is that?" asked Sprawl. And she told the story of Forethought, Readywit, and Fatalist. Chapter 20. In a great lake lived 3 full-grown fishes, whose names were Forethought, Readywit, and Fatalist. Now one day, the fish named Forethought overheard passerbys on the bank and fishermen saying, "There are plenty of fish in this pond. Tomorrow we will go fishing." On hearing this, Forethought reflected, "This looks bad. Tomorrow or the day after they will be here for sure. I will take Readywit and Fatalist and move to another lake, whose waters are not troubled." So he called them and asked the question. Thereupon Readywit said, "I have lived long in this lake, and cannot move in such a hurry. If fishermen come here, then I will protect myself by some means devised for the occasion." But poor doomed Fatalist said, "There are sizable lakes elsewhere. Who knows whether or not they will come? One should not abandon the lake of his birth merely because of such small gossip. And the proverb says, 'Since scamp and sneak and snake so often undertake a plan that does not thrive, the world wags on, alive.' Therefore I am determined not to go." And when Forethought realized that their minds were made up, he went to another body of water. On the next day, when he had gone, the fishermen with their best boys beset the inner pool, cast a net, and caught all the fish without exception. Under these circumstances, Readywit, while still in the water, played dead. And since they thought, "This big fellow died without help," they drew him from the net and laid him on the bank, from which he wriggled back to the safety of the water. But Fatalist stuck his nose into the meshes of the net, struggling with them until they pounded him repeatedly with clubs and so killed him. And that's why I say, Forethought and Readywit thrive. Fatalist can't keep alive. My dear, said the plover, why do you think me like Fatalist? Horses, elephants, and iron, water, woman, man, sticks and stones and clothes are built on a different plan. Feel no anxiety. Who can bring humiliation upon you while my arms protect you? So Constance laid her eggs, but the ocean, who had listened to the previous conversation, thought, well, well, there is sense in the saying. Of self-conceit all creatures show an adequate supply. The plover lies with claws upstretched to prop the falling sky. I will just put his power to the test. So the next day, when the two plovers had gone foraging, he made a long reach with his wave hands and eagerly seized the eggs. Then, when the hen plover returned and found the nursery empty, she said to her husband, see what has happened to poor me? The ocean seized my eggs today. I told you more than once that we should move, but you were as stupid as Fatalist and would not go. Now I am so sad at the loss of my children that I have decided to burn myself. My dear, said the plover, wait until you witness my power. I will dry up that rascally ocean with my bill. But she replied, my dear husband, how can you fight the ocean? Furthermore, gay simpletons who fight, not estimating right the foe's power and their own, like moths in flame atone. My dear, said the plover, you should not say such things. The sun's new risen beams upon the mountains fall, where glory is cognate, age matters not at all. With this bill I should dry up the water to the last drop, and turn the sea into dry land. Darling, said his wife, with a bill that holds one drop, how will you dry up the ocean, into which pour without ceasing the Ganges and the Indus, bearing the water of 9 times 900 tributary streams? Why talk nonsense? But the plover said, success is rooted in the will, and I possess an iron-strong bill. Long days and nights before me lie. Why should not ocean's flood go dry? The highest glory to attain, ask enterprise and manly strain. The sun must first to Libra climb, before he routs the cloudy time. Well, said his wife, if you feel that we must make war on the ocean, at least call the other birds to aid you before you begin. For the proverb says, a host where each is weak brings victory to pass. The elephant is bound by woven ropes of grass. And again, woodpecker and sparrow, with froggy and gnat, attacking en masse, laid the elephant flat. How was that? asked Sprawl. And Constance told the story of the duel between the elephant and sparrow. To be continued. Thank you, and good night.